Well, good evening, Jennifer. It's nice to see you. This is Sandy Schoelles with Environmental Coffee House. And with Jennifer, wait,
Hello.
Jennifer, I got to get your
Good
name
to
up.
see you.
Hello. I am trying to see if it's coming out on Facebook. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm doing good today, Sandy.
Good, good,
Fires are
good.
still raging.
Yeah, that's what
Not
I
here in
wanted to hear.
Colorado.
Did you
Yeah,
clean up your
actually, we
deck?
had a pretty big snowstorm in Colorado after we had that heat wave.
Mm-hmm.
Snowstorm came within like 24 hours and seemed to have put out all the fires because I haven't seen any smoke or smelled any smoke. So at least the fires on the east side of the Continental Divide are
Right.
pretty much out at this point. But I think in California, they are
Hmm.
still raging. California, Oregon, and Washington, especially.
Well, guess what? We're not on Facebook. So I think something happened when I did my stream the last time and I forgot to switch it back over. So we're just on YouTube. So Kim, if you want to share it on YouTube, fine. If not, I can do this after and we'll make it a premiere on Facebook. So hi everyone. So we'll wait for you to join us. So Jen, did you get to clean off the ash and everything?
Yeah. I cleaned off all the ash and then the snow came and washed the rest of it away, but good thing I had cleaned it off. But that all seems very minor compared to what's
California.
going on in California, or I mean, the
No
whole
kidding.
West Coast, right? It's just crazy. I was talking to a friend of mine in Oregon, and she was evacuated and trying to
Oh
find
my
some place to
God.
stay.
Yeah,
It's
Kim, it
crazy.
won't be on Facebook. I didn't switch the setting. I forgot. So I'm just going to put the link on the Facebook page so everybody will know it, Kim, and then you can just share it. Thank you very much. This is housekeeping. It's my fault. My fault on the event. I will just put that. I made an event so people know we're on. Forgive me, Jennifer.
Excellent.
No, it was the last time I only did I did the show, my
Hmm.
last show only on YouTube. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I didn't flip the switch, so I'm going to put the link in there and hopefully other people will realize that this is where we are.
I'm trying to bring it up so I
Uh
can kind of follow along with you for the show.
yeah. Well, don't bring it
Let's
up
see.
on don't bring it up on YouTube. I mean on Facebook. So how is everybody out there? Kamashwari Kate is here from Vancouver and she is socked in with smoke. Oh my gosh. Up in Vancouver it's like that. Patrick Kim's with us. Thank you, Kim. Armand, I always have to say hi. What people are joining us. We got a good show tonight. Jen,
Yeah,
you want to do the intros of what we're going to talk about tonight?
sure.
As I
Be
fart
happy
around with
to.
this. Good.
Right. So we've got a good, concise show for you guys tonight. We've got an article from Vox.com, What's Causing Climate Change in 10 Charts. So we're going to go through um, all sorts of charts and ways of looking at climate change. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you'll find it amazing.
You think
What
so?
actually will be a little bit more grabbing is this next one that we've got from the Siberian Times, and that's also about the methane craters. More than
Yeah.
400 sealed craters are ticking time bombs
Good stuff.
from a total of 7,000 Arctic permafrost mounds. There's 7,000 Pingos in a couple of the peninsulas of the Arctic in Siberia. It's just amazing. Then we're going to go to something completely different, and this is a 39,000-year-old cave bear thawed out of the permafrost in Siberia, perfectly preserved. So it was actually two cave bears, a mother and a cub, and they
Yeah.
were 100% perfectly preserved.
Yeah.
All their fur, the nose, the everything, their lips, it's kind of amazing.
I've got pictures. I've got
She's got
receipts.
picture.
Got receipts.
And then our picture tonight is from this next article, and this is an article from the New Republic, and it is the next pandemic could be hiding in the Arctic permafrost. And the picture behind us is from a cemetery sitting on the thawing permafrost in Siberia. So pretty creepy and pretty
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
Okay,
going to
so
be
we'll
able
get
to talk
started.
about that.
And
Yeah,
I shared whatever I could share, so there's not much I can do since I screwed it up. But you know what? Doesn't matter. We got a great crowd here on YouTube, and I can guarantee that our connection will be better without having to use bandwidth to get over there on Facebook. So it's
no
great.
doubt.
It's all right, Jen, and people are joining us, so this will be awesome. Uh, Hi, Donna, and she loves bears. Well, I love all animals, and Trish Kaiser's with us. Great,
Hi,
everybody's
Trish.
joining. Hi, Trish. Hi, Trish. And I'm in a pretty good mood tonight. Yeah, I was sore as hell, and but I've been doing my thing, and I edited that other video, the billionaires on Mars. I made it completely different than it was on the live stream I did because it was not the finished product. It wasn't perfect like I like it, so I redid it. It's kind of odd. I don't know. I think I was kind of, I wanted it for
We're
my daughter's age group, I think. That was hence the music. So I
It
showed it
was
to her.
intense.
Yeah, it was intense. I showed it
All
to her,
those
and she's like,
explosions. Were you feeling explosive?
I was feeling explosive. It was like cathartic. It was cathartic. So, oh, I hope everybody from Facebook comes here and joins us. But anyway, anywho, it's okay. We are happy with who's here with us, and we're gonna start with the article. Oh my gosh, and I hope I haven't screwed any of that up. That's every week I feel like something happens. Oh, it's up. Okay, this is the Vox article. We thought the Vox article was not bad. They again, a lot of these publications that are not mainstream media, but they have decent journalists that are competent and do their homework. And this one is what's causing climate change in 10 charts. And so I think this one will be a great one to go over. And Jennifer, you want to start this one?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
as we see that
We'll see if
lovely.
we can get through, most of it.
Yeah,
It is long, but it's pretty fascinating. So I'm
yeah.
just going to read the first couple of paragraphs.
Okay.
With heat waves, wildfires, intense hurricanes, and other extreme weather events in the headlines, the ravages of climate change have become undeniable and unavoidable. Who or what is responsible for this? It seems like simple enough question, but like so many things about climate change, it gets more complicated the more you look at it. It turns out there are a number of ways of divvying up the blame. So this is kind of like
Mm-hmm.
who's done what. To illustrate this point, they've borrowed some charts from Morgan Stanley with permission, and
Okay.
this helps to distinguish who is emitting now from who's emitted in the past. So
Interesting.
the
Morgan
difference, yeah, the
Stanley.
difference. Mhm. That's right. That's right. And that is really cumulative versus, the rate, who's emitting on any given year. Because we think, oh, China's the one who's, emitting the most, greenhouse gases, but not cumulatively. Cumulatively, the US has emitted the most greenhouse gases. China has just recently overtaken us. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because of our
Yeah.
need for cheap shit.
Yeah. So
So
the
professional.
question they're asking, what question do we ask when we ask who's to blame for climate change? If the question is which country is currently emitting the most greenhouse gas, the answer is China, as
Mm-hmm.
we can see from these little box charts that Sandy's probably showing
Yeah,
right now.
and see, I made them bigger. I think so. It looks good.
Yeah.
It's not easier, but you can
And
see the China. You can see Russia. It's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good.
yeah. And there's a lot of really good charts. Anybody who likes charts and ways of seeing data over time, these graphs are pretty interesting. So then the other question is, if the question is which countries people emit the most greenhouse gases on a per capita basis, the answer is Americans by a
Mm-hmm.
fairly wide margin. Hence the American lifestyle, which is so fiercely defended.
Let me see if the U.S. Okay. Yeah, fiercely defended. You
Fiercely
can't
defended.
criticize at all. You can't.
Yeah,
No, especially in
yeah.
this day and age. Get your head bit off.
And then the third view, cumulatively, if the question is which region or country is responsible for the biggest portion of the greenhouse gases already in the atmosphere for a long time, the answer was Europe. And today it still is, with Russia and the rest of the Eastern Europe included, with North America and Asia tied for second, according to Our World in Data.
Oh,
And
that's a
then
good site.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's cumulative, if the question is which individual country is responsible for the most emissions, it's the US. That's cumulative at
Mm.
almost double its nearest competitor, China.
Mm.
So cumulatively, the US has emitted almost 400 gigatons, China 214, so we're almost double, and the former USSR 180, and so
Mm.
forth.
Mm.
So, thanks to the good old American lifestyle and our energy consumption, we are hands down the country who has emitted most CO2. If the question is which country or region is heading fastest in the right direction, the answer is Europe. So these charts are kind of like those coronavirus charts that have been coming out in the New York Times. I've been looking at them. They're a
Mm-hmm.
little more complicated to ascertain, but you can kind of go through them. Um, if the question is which fuel has contributed most to climate change, the answer is, as of the 21st century, coal, followed by oil and natural gas.
Okay, I'm trying to get up with you. It's the who has contributed most to global CO2 emissions. That one? North America's in
The
green.
next the next one I just went through, which is the question is which fuel has contributed most to climate
Okay.
change,
Sorry,
and
guys,
that
I
is
was
coal.
behind a little bit. And
Maybe I'm going through this too fast.
I don't know. I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to be pulling up. Doesn't it? Oh, share of cumulative carbon emissions. And then the one before that was per capita carbon emissions. And the one before that was all the countries, unless I'm behind. I don't know how that happened. But this one is this one the who has contributed most to global CO2. That's what you were just talking
Mm,
about, North America and the billions of tons. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Sorry.
down on if the question is which economic sector contributes the most greenhouse gases, the answer is electricity and heat. So by
I'm there.
type, what uses up the most greenhouse gases? Electricity,
Yep.
transportation, electricity and heat, transportation, and then manufacturing. So that amounts just there, to well over half. Do you want to take it from here, Sandy?
Sure. So
Okay.
after the greenhouse gas emissions by sector, then we move on to the chart, another chart from Our World in Data, which is wonderful. And it makes it even clearer globally that the rising demand for electricity and heat is that main driver. And so in this one, CO2 emissions by the world, I made it bigger. You can see the lines. It's just a different graph. It's just in a different um, a little bit different direction. See how you see the 14 billion tons and how it's just gone up and up. So 2016 was off the charts, being it's a chart. Ha ha ha. And
Yeah.
and buildings and land use is it's down there, land use change and forestry industry, other fuel combustion. So it's pretty interesting if you guys want to look through this afterwards. We thought Vox did a halfway decent job. These little outlets
Hmm.
are not bad. And they don't have the huge budgets that the New York Times has, but they are reliable, I think. So
Hmm.
note that the U.S. situation is somewhat different. Transportation emissions are rising and electricity sector emissions are falling. The lines recently crossed. Wow.
Hmm.
So the story
It's
told by the
interesting.
data is it's the story told by these charts is it's familiar to people who have followed climate change for a while. Fossil fuel industrial development came to the EU, then it came to North America, and just as it was getting underway in China, the world found out that, oops, this development is going to destabilize the atmosphere and potentially devastate the biosphere. And what's more, the amount of greenhouse gases already in the atmosphere means that humanity's remaining carbon budget is perilously low, Jennifer. Perilously low. The
P.S.
model, yeah,
P.S. There's no carbon budget. P.S. Just
P.S.
FYI.
Right. The model of development with a proven record of success has been revealed as extremely dangerous if it continues as it has in the past. So that's a raw deal for China, as well as India, Vietnam, and other countries trying to raise their citizens to a level. They want to be like they want to have what they see that we have. And at the same time, it's the mostly emerging economies that face the greatest risks from climate change. So they simply must change course at their own peril. It's a mess of a situation. The answer to the question of responsibility for climate change is always yes and yes. North America and the EU ought to acknowledge their historical responsibility for emissions. They ate up most of the carbon budget. Ugh. Developing a way that is now off limits to world's billions of poor people. So basically, you guys get it. You get the drift on this one, and it is quite it's sad, but they're not going to get what they're not going to get what has been traditionally aimed for. I don't think, Jennifer. What do you think?
Mm-mm.
No, I
No,
don't think
no,
so.
I don't think so. Don't think it's going to happen.
No,
Unfortunately.
I don't either. But it's sad because it's sad. We know what's happening, but a lot of people that may not be as well informed in other countries, and they wanted to have that American or European way of life, and without decarbonizing it, it's not going to happen. And then they don't realize that a lot of us here that are understanding of what's happening think that their way of life is the way of life to go forward. Simplicity. And so,
Yeah.
what do you tell people that feel cheated because they didn't get what we did, what we privileged
Yep.
in the United States did?
It's bad. And then at the very end of this article, it said, whoever's fault it is, we either all chip in to solve it or we all suffer.
Yeah.
Suffer.
Yeah, there you go. Let me show that. That one thing. Yep. The last line. The last line. So then I guess we'll move on because the next article, this is what we're most excited about talking about. And this is quite interesting. And I'm going to have Jennifer start with this one because this is Jennifer. She's chomping at the bits. This is her area. And as I find it's interesting, Jennifer really, she knows her material here. So, Jen, take it away.
Yeah. Well, It's never dull up in Siberia. There are a
Nope.
couple of peninsulas up in Siberia, the Yamal Peninsula and another one, which we'll get to, and they are basically permafrost, non-submerged permafrost sticking out into the Arctic Ocean. And as you guys know, they have been blowing up with these methane craters that have been just astronomical. And we actually talked about it, I think, a couple of weeks ago about the latest methane crater that was discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's a
We sure did.
database for methane craters. Well, more than 400 sealed craters are ticking time bombs from a total of 7,000 plus Arctic permafrost mounds.
Mm.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Ay, 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 ay.
Scary
Um,
stuff.
it is, it is. And since this is the Siberian Times, it has great pictures. So Sandy's probably going to scroll through and show you guys some
Oh
of the
sure.
pictures.
As you're reading.
Yeah. Yep. There are 17 identified funnels of exploded so-called heave mounds recorded in the Yamal and Gaiden peninsulas since the first crater known as C1, Crater 1, started
Look at
history
those.
of observations in the summer of 2014. I remember when that thing came out. It was such a stunner. They are believed to be caused by the buildup of methane gas pockets of thawing permafrost under the surface. These swollen pingo-like formations then erupt with gas blowing off thick caps of soil, shooting out chunks of ice and soil as large as 150 cubic meters, as happened in 2017 when the Sayaka Pingo erupted. The newest, number 17, on Russian scientists' list, crater, appeared earlier this summer in an undisclosed location on the Yamal Peninsula. It is currently 31 meters, 102 feet deep, although scientists believe that it was about 40 meters or 131 feet deep at the moment of eruption, with the bottom of the crater quickly covered by collapsing soil.
Wow.
It was in our database as one of 7,185 permafrost heave mounds. So they keep an eye on all these heave mounds, and then that one just blew its head off in the Yamal and Gaiden Peninsula. 5 to 6% of them are really dangerous. So if you have 7,000, just do the math, and then five or six, 5 or 6%, that's still quite a few. That I guess that
Yeah, it
equals
is.
400 and something.
Mm.
Professor Vasily Bogoyalensky has recently returned from major scientific expedition to study the recently erupted mound.
Mm.
Wow, and these pictures are
They
intense.
are intense. I just showed the video, and you could see the smoke. You could see
Oh,
the. I don't know if it's a steam or if it's a methane. Maybe I'll go down and just see real quick what it said it was exactly. Uh,
yeah.
let's see. Oh wow, here's another picture. Oh, I'm running into even more pictures. I thought it was over. Oh, this is really
No,
a good
no.
article, but I want to look
It
for
it
the
really
video
is.
I
And those
had, and I don't see it.
the
The Yarmul
videos at the
Crater.
bottom, there's one at the very bottom
All
of
right, I
this
don't want to make
article.
everybody dizzy to look for it again. I had played it already. I took the voice off, but it was a different one than this. So let's just go up and go back to where you were before I make everybody sick, and then we'll go down and talk
Okay.
about
The
which.
pictures that I want to look at are the
Yes.
ones that look like zits, right?
Okay,
So
now
they haven't
there's the crate
unpopped,
unpopped. All right.
unpopped. So
Is
if you
that
go down, it's like the sixth or seventh picture down.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6? This, the one where it
Yeah.
looks like it's some kind of skin disease.
It
More
does
than
look like a skin
300
disease.
sealed craters are ticking time bombs from a total of 7,000 plus, and that's what and
Yeah.
it says the new
And
Yamal Peninsula's crater was registered in summer
yeah, and the
2020. Okay.
and the next one down as well that's split in three parts, that one looks like it's about to blow.
Split in three parts.
So
Okay, that
Yeah.
one. Oh yeah, this
There's
one.
it's yeah.
Yep. Boy, this is wild stuff. I want to go there,
Yeah.
Jennifer. Let's figure out how we can do something before I can't
Oh,
walk
well,
anymore.
we can dream about it.
Oh, Jen, I don't want to dream. I really want to do, but I bet you could do it way before me.
Well.
Mm.
Ah. And so this is about their database of Pingos. They have a Pingo database. The massive database of Pingos is getting compiled thanks to satellite monitoring and regular helicopter expeditions.
Wow.
Currently, several areas in the Arctic, namely the Sayaka area, the North Tombay area, and the South Tombay field, close to the village of Sabeta and West Sayaka gas field, are the only ones on the list of the most dangerous sites with the highest concentration of pingo-like mounds. So it's really
Mm.
kind of collecting around these different areas.
Mm.
The process of these mounds forming and exploding is now mostly clear to science. Well, it took them a while, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, but what are you
With
going to do?
researchers focusing on how to distinguish the dangerous mounds from non explosive ones. Well, maybe non explosive today, and most importantly, on how to prevent future eruptions. They can be cut open with the gas pumped out. Well, that would be a good idea. I guess they could just like stick something in them and, basically it's like Dr.
My
Pimple
God.
Popper or something.
That's why I
Um,
said Dr. Pimple Popper. It looked like Dr. Pimple Popper, especially the one up there. Some eruption
God.
on someone's backside. All right, too much information. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it must be done very carefully when they pop the pimple. It is
Ooh.
sappers work. I don't know what sappers work, as these phenomena can be called gas mines. So, I guess they could pump the gas out and do something with it, but they have to
Sappers
kind of
work.
decompress it because it's
Yeah.
very expansive when it comes out under there, as you can see in all these pictures. My God.
Jen, I have a question before we go on. Um, what happens when some of this starts encroaching on human habitat? I mean, we're not even talking about the animals that are getting affected by this. I just wonder.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
Yeah,
future
and
show.
and the Yamal Peninsula is pretty well depopulated, and they're just like reindeer herders up there.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, if it goes further south,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen when a methane crater blows up
Yeah.
in your neighborhood?
Oh,
You know,
yes. Neighborhood coming to you. Yeah, and it's going to hurt the most, vulnerable population of indigenous people who didn't
yeah,
ask for this.
yeah. Listen to this one, Sandy. At the Sayaka crater, a local woman became fascinated with the bulging mound and visited it daily, he said. But on the day of the explosion, she felt some tremor. She described it as if the earth was breathing. So it hadn't
Oh my
exploded yet, but it started going,
gosh. That's pretty
you
wild.
know.
Pretty
She
wild.
quickly left the place just in time before it exploded. If she had shown more curiosity, she would have been killed by this explosion, and we would have the first victim. At
Wow.
least three of the recorded eruptions had witnesses who reported seeing ignition. And I think that they probably do this in kind of a poof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the
It seems like they would.
Anti-Paiute crater, which was the third one, C3, the Sayaka crater, which was C11, and the Yakuta crater, C12 eruptions,
Mm-hmm.
we believe the ignition was caused by electrostatic discharges, which adds to the danger of these mounds, Vasily Bogoyavlensky said.
Mm.
Bogoyavlensky.
Let me see if I can do any
Vlensky.
better. Can I do any better?
Bogoyavlensky. It's Bogo
Bogoyavlensky.
Bogo
Bogoyavlensky.
Bogoyavlensky.
Yeah, I
Very
did
good,
it.
Sandy.
Good.
You're awesome.
No, we're going to take
But
Russian
these
this
things
year.
are just so huge. I mean, look at the if you keep scrolling down and you see those other craters, look
Look at the people and
small
oh
the
my God. Oh my
how small
gosh.
the people are. I mean, compared to these things.
Hey Jen,
It's
could these
just
be if they took the methane and did something with it, could these be the bunkers for the billionaires up there?
there you go. Stick them in a methane crater, see how they
Yes,
like
let's
that.
stick them since I have billionaires on Mars on my brain. Let's stick them. Let's
Yeah.
stick them too. Let's stick them in there.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey,
my
Sandy,
gosh.
do you want to take it
Yeah.
away? We're at the
Sure.
place where it says, according to Professor
Yeah,
Bogojavlensky
I just
and
want to
his
show those
team.
pictures of what it looks like
Oh,
in the
these
snow
pictures are great.
and and see now look at the one picture. I don't know if you're caught up yet, but the picture where the snow and you it looks like it's almost there's a bottom right there, but that who knows how deep that snow goes. Pretty wild. And then look, there's people that are they're in it. I wonder that's odd. See how they're doing their research in it?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wonder how
they're
deep it
rappelling
goes.
down into the
Yeah.
crater.
Oh my
Pretty
gosh. I don't
freaky.
think that would be. Yeah. But you know what are amazing scientists? There's amazing scientists. Russians are amazing scientists, and they and we Russian scientists and American scientists work so well together. It's just it's a shame what's happening because the relationships were good. Very good. We need each other in research. We need each other in science. I don't think all of this bullshit transcends, this political bullshit transcends into the science community. So, according to Professor Bog- why do I want to say Blagojevich? Okay, Bogoy Vanel Bog, Professor Bog, and I'm not being disrespectful. And his team, the exploding mounds described as pingo like features differ from classic pingos or bul- bulganyak, bulganyakis.
There you
Bulganyakis.
go.
Pingos usually form in the depression of dried up lakes, which are kajari, and have an ice core which expands and makes them grow. In the formulation of the pingo like features in northern Siberia, the methane migrates from deeper layers through subvertical faults in thawed zones, which are called cryopegs, to fill a cavity formed in the permafrost. So usually these cavities are covered by a 7 to 9 meter thick seal of permafrost. The volume of the chamber increases under the growing pressure from the gas and eventually blows up the seal with massive chunks of frozen rock and soil thrown as far as 900 meters. So there's a video here, and I'm going to play it, but you're not going to be able to hear it because usually that doesn't work. But let's see if we can see this and just see what's happening in there. Nobody can usually hear it. If you can hear it, I'd be shocked. But let me know if you can hear it, if it ever plays. If we don't keep watching the circle. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it, guys. If you can't hear it, at least you can see what they're doing. See the bubbling underneath? Can you guys hear this at all? Well, that was cool, even though you couldn't hear it. So you couldn't hear it, but it looked, they were doing some kind of work in the Sekaha crater with the gas emissions continuing months, and this was back in 17. So pretty interesting. And here is a lovely picture. And nobody answered me. I don't know if they heard it, but here is a just a lovely picture of Yamal, the LNG plant in Sibeta, northeast of the Yamal Peninsula.
It's
Jennifer,
huge.
what does that make you feel like? And okay,
It's huge. This thing is huge.
I wanted them. Okay, everybody said
They
they couldn't hear it. I knew you wouldn't be able to hear it, but I wanted you to see the video, even though you couldn't hear it, because I still haven't figured out how to make that work. So, what do you think, Jen? I mean, look at all
well,
those
this thing is
processing.
huge. This is like
Oof.
what is this? An electricity plant? Is this a refinery?
It's a
Looks like
refinery.
it.
It's a refinery, and I let's see.
Wow.
They this place can you imagine if they wanted to harness the methane that's coming up and they built this shit all over the Arctic? It would be disgusting in Siberia. I don't put it past them. But they say this pingo-like feature developed in approximately 3.5 years with an average rate of growth being over 90 centimeters a year. The rate is more than
Hmm.
3 times higher than that of the riverbed pingo that's in Canada and other pingos in North Canada. So
Hmm.
this one, it's the oil and gas Oh, okay. It's just it's a huge. Wow, that is big. Holy crap! So there's
I
some good
dare you
comments
to
here.
say this name.
Where? Which one?
Bovanenkovo antipyuta.
Bovenovkovo. No, it's
You're
Bov
better.
Baven Bavenikovo. Banenovkovo Antipayada. Payuda.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm terrible. I barely did well, and I had to take Spanish in college. I wasn't good at thinking it. That's terrible, but I couldn't think in another language. So the comments here weren't bad. There were 11 comments, and oh, look at that. Philip Stone, our friend. Ha! This is our personal friend. He says it appears to me that the puny efforts that mankind could rapidly marshal to he's talking about capturing this for use and mineralization could only have a minimal effect on the totality of the Arctic methane's contribution to abrupt biosphere collapse. That's what my husband said, but that's like it doesn't seem right. He
It's
says
it's too big.
it's too
You couldn't.
big.
It's too big and too diffuse, and you
Well,
can't
I'm going
mine
to yell
it
at
and
him.
capture all the freaking methane coming
Yeah,
up
I'm
all over the
surprised.
East Siberian Arctic Shelf, which is the place where it comes up the most. It's too big.
Yeah,
It's
well, I'm
huge.
surprised that Philip made that comment. But then again, he's a very deep thinker in all this kind of information, and he might have his ideas. But let's see the amount. This person said the amount. Leland Palmer said the amount of methane released by these blowouts is trivial so far. The giant Siberian gas fields are the global warming problem. Use carbon capture and storage while producing electricity for export. Put biomass carbon back underground using biomass energy with carbon capture and storage, which is BECCS, using biomass from fire breaks cut through the forests. Very interesting.
Hmm.
That's another person giving you, well, a techno solution kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you
Well,
want to look at any more of these? Because see, they're interesting. She said, Sarah Marin, she said it's like the world's acne and acne scars. Treatment should
yeah.
be like a healthy skincare routine. Generally, aim to use a product over at least 6 weeks, once or twice daily to notice a difference. Tip with any skincare product, apply in order of consistency
Oh
from
my
thinnest to
God.
thickest. Did you want to look at any of the other ones?
Let's see.
Leland. Yeah, he made another one about carbon neutral would be a huge task, just like what you said.
Let's see. This guy, Richard Pete, he says the relic methane hydrate hypothesis is now making predictions. It predicted the Yamal Peninsula was glaciated in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and that seems to be true. It also satisfies the well known facts about these events. If true, that would have large implications. It would likely mean that these methane blowouts are going to become more common.
Mm.
True. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
right.
Oh, that's Leland Palmer from Santa Rosa,
Oh, is
which
it? Is
is,
that the way
yeah,
it goes?
yeah, Leland. Yeah, it's down under Leland. It seems like Leland's in the middle of the fire zones in California.
Yeah, Santa Rosa,
He's very
definitely.
interested in this. I wonder if if this commenter is a methane researcher. But Lucille says doesn't matter. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's it.
And there's a nice little
French
French
one.
thing. Les photos sont très explicites, mais pour comprendre le mécanisme, un petit dessin aurait aidé.
All
So I think
right.
that means the photos are very explicit, but to truly understand the mechanism, you need to have a little help.
Yes. Need to have a little help.
Bonjour,
Oh,
merci.
bonjour. Merci. I took that in high school. So listen, let's just check in with our we have 57 people watching, and I expect to see 57 likes. Gazer and Raz is here from the UK, so he's staying up late for us. And Patrick McNulty is here. And Patrick, you know, as you know, Patrick has Home Tech. And let's see. Hi, Gary Ballard. I see Gary on the progressive different channels. The sky will eventually burn. The coming Armageddon. Wow. Wow. Gary.
Well, the sky burned when the atomic bombs get set off. I
Yeah.
mean, that's oxygen burning. I mean, that's basically burning up and punching holes in the biosphere every time they
Wow.
tested an atomic bomb. It's
Ugh,
very
it's
sad.
awful. Well, at that note,
We're so like careless and, unthinking when we do things like that.
yeah, and the atolls over in well, those people suffered and they're still suffering. And we just passed 9/11, but we're not going to get into that. I just wanted to just make a mention of, 9/11 and the fact that what did 9/11? We lost a lot of people, but we've lost 200,000 to COVID. So it's just to look at the difference. It's pretty sad. And hi, old sage Joe. There's a lot of people that follow from all these different venues that I see them on. So it's really nice um, to see you guys. Thank you. And Irk one is here, and Irk one I was lucky enough to meet over at Basil and Karen's for Hambone's birthday party last year. He came up, so very interesting. It's great to see you all. So Jen, the next
Hmm.
one is the bear, which we both can take together. I've got
Yeah.
pictures, and this is really, really interesting. And I had even told my husband, I said they found a 39,000-year-old perfectly preserved bear, and
Hmm.
the
A
scientists at
cave bear and
yeah,
not
a cave
any old
bear.
bear. An extinct giant cave bear.
Absolutely. And look at the teeth there.
Yeah. Oh
It's
my God.
yeah, 39
Its nose,
years. It's
its
it's
nose is
it's
still there.
yeah, I've got a lot of pictures of this guy, but this guy was recently thawed out of the permafrost in Siberia, and he is perfectly preserved. Archaeologists in Russia discovered two perfectly preserved bears inside a wall in two separate digs. So what I want to do here is I am going to put us back on, and I pulled up all these pictures, Jen, that I thought would be interesting. And I know you have a little lag, but you'll see them. And so I'm going to start with one, and then there's one last one that I hope everybody finds the little bit of humor. All right. So one of the first ones is here, and this is the large. It's a large picture of this animal, and it is really something. They've got it laying out on the wood, and it's the first ever full carcass of a cave bear, currently dated to approximately, this one says 39,500 years. Mm-hmm. Can you see it yet, Jennifer?
Oh, I don't have my phone going, so
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
unfortunately
sorry. All right,
cannot.
you'll see it when you do the when you do the watch back. And oh wait, not that one yet. Nope, not that one yet. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Okay, let me shut all of these. Oh my goodness, I went the wrong way and kind of screwed it up. So the next one is a cave drawing. And it is so it is a likeness of what the people at that time drew, and this is what we're seeing in this artifact that they found. And then you see in this picture, the next picture, you see the teeth, you see the gums, you see the pink. It's amazing. 39, and you think about this, 39,000 years, and it's only because of the thawing out. And so when Jennifer segues to the next one, which she's going to talk about the what else is in there. But look at that. It this one, it looks like, this is the second one, looks like it has a little smiley face. It's like it died smiling. And let's see. So that basically, that those are the pictures I have from that. And I have a little funny that I got off Twitter that somebody said, "Oh my, they even found King Kong preserved on the permafrost." And if you look at the picture, it's a piece of it's rock. Jennifer, it's rock on the side of the water up there. And to this person it looked like King Kong. So I thought I'd give everybody a little a little
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
these
cute.
cave bears became extinct about 15,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. They sure did.
So they think that they have been able to scrape off enough DNA to grow a new one.
Oh, I hope they don't. I don't like that. I don't want to see that. Just like the other ones that say that they're going to you know the mammoth, woolly mammoth, because they
Hmm.
think they can solve what are they going to solve doing that? Oh, that's a whole
Yeah.
other thing.
It's just
I think it's
idle
a waste.
curiosity.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's healthy curiosity. But so these
No.
bodies, just they were first discovered by reindeer herders, Jen, and like you said,
Yeah.
15,000 years ago, and it was a mother and a cub, and the soft tissue of the adult cave bear was preserved in its permafrost grave for tens of thousands of years. I mean, it's just like it's wild. They're optimistic about finding the DNA of the extinct animal, and oh, just what we talked about. Here it goes. Interestingly, they are also
Hmm.
seeking to bring life back to the extinct woolly mammoth. I don't like it. This is a whole other discussion we will have, because it just that gives me the big totally ass creeps. So that's that article, and oh wait, it said in 2011 a perfectly preserved puppy estimated to be about 14,000 years old was found frozen with a slice of extinct rhinoceros in its stomach. Wow. The prehistoric canine, which is thought to be either a dog or a wolf, was found in Tumat, Siberia. When that dog was tested by analysts at the Natural Museum in Stockholm, results confirmed that the remains in its stomach belonged to a woolly rhinoceros that had been extinct
Whoa.
for 14,000 years. In other words, the
Right.
mummified puppy munched on one of the last animals of the woolly rhinoceros species before dying.
Ugh.
Oh, wow.
Something happened
Archaeologists. Ooh.
14,000 years ago. They have some places, like that are just perfectly preserved. And it's almost like, I mean, why is this cave bear and her cub, why did they die? Why did they die at the same time together? What happened?
Yeah,
That's an
actually, think
interesting
about that.
question.
In the permafrost, they just died. I mean, wonder if it was methane poisoning back then. That's a whole
Well,
other research
that's
expedition.
a whole other show.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean there were different kind of like things happening, comets and asteroids that they found
Mm-hmm.
nanodiamonds and evidence, from there was like either a tail of a comet broke off or something that just actually caused the ice age to end very abruptly, and it
Yeah.
sprinkled all over the place and probably kept circulating and bombarding um, you know
Mm,
the world.
the world.
um,
Hey,
Kind of
Jen, did you want to
crazy.
tell anybody about the picture that we have behind us? Did you do that in the beginning?
I didn't.
No, go
Well,
ahead. Tell
I
everybody.
think I did. I think I may have mentioned it. But this
Oh.
crazy picture that we have behind us is from our next article. And this picture is from a cemetery sitting on the thawing permafrost. And you can see, just like drunken trees, we have drunken crosses. And they're sticking up every which way because the permafrost is thawing and they're kind of like all falling over. It's
Yeah.
kind of
A
horrible.
little creepy. A little creepy.
Right.
All
And that's from
right.
this next article from
Yep.
the New
Which
Republic.
I
And
am
it's
pulling
called "The Next
up.
Pandemic Could Be Hiding in the Arctic Permafrost. Global warming could unearth ancient microbes. Will we be as unprepared as we were for the coronavirus? Ah, your guess.
Yeah. Well, my guess would be yes.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
Oh, boy.
So, in the summer of 2016, a heat wave washed over Europe, thawing permafrost in the north. In the Arctic soil of Siberia, bacteria began stirring, anthrax to be specific. The thawing, shifting ground exposed a reindeer carcass buried and frozen in 1941. I remember when that happened.
Wow.
The Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember 1941, but I remember when it was
Well,
exposed.
I know that, but you learned about it. Yeah. I don't
Yeah, I
remember it.
remember, I remember that
Yeah,
article.
we were not around. We might be ancient, but not that ancient.
Not quite yet. Just give us a few years, right?
Yeah, give
The,
us a few years.
the anthrax spores from the body found their way into the top layer of the soil and water nearby before being picked up by thousands of migratory reindeer grazing in the area.
Wow.
Over
My
2,000
word.
reindeer soon contracted the deadly bacteria and passed it along to the nomadic Nen- Nenets people who travel alongside the reindeer and depend upon them for food. So it went to both the reindeer and to humans. It jumped,
Hmm.
you
Reindeer and
know?
humans. Whew.
Yeah. By
Well,
the end of
that
August,
happens.
a 12-year-old boy had died, and at least 115 others had been hospitalized from this one tribe. So
Hmm.
the current coronavirus pandemic, despite likely originating with an animal to human crossover, well, that's still kind of under debate, isn't it? Far from the
Yeah.
Arctic Circle, has come at a particularly weighty moment for infectious disease. As the Arctic warms twice as fast as the rest of the world, its ground is starting to thaw. With that thaw, bacteria and viruses once buried in the permafrost could increasingly emerge from long hibernation. At the same time, the Arctic is seeing more traffic than ever, with sea routes opening up and natural resource exploitation growing in the region. As the microbes begin to reemerge, they have more opportunities than ever to encounter people and animals. Wow. Do you want to take it, Sandy, from here, or do you want me to read?
Oh, um, where are we here? Okay. No, you go ahead for a little while longer. I've been blabbing
It's
all
it
night.
okay. It's not just bacteria like anthrax making a reappearance. The Arctic is no stranger to deadly viruses as well. The bodies of victims of the 1918 influenza pandemic to which many are now comparing the current coronavirus pandemic, are still buried in the Arctic permafrost. It's like the zombies or something. God.
Yeah.
And centuries after smallpox raged through a Siberian settlement in the 1890s, the bodies of those buried along the now eroding Kolyma River have been begun resurfacing. It is like zombies. It's totally like zombies. Oh my God.
Jennifer, that's creepy.
It's really
Yes.
creepy.
What
It's
could
so
come out? What
creepy.
else could come out from up there?
It's gross.
Ooh.
Res- Researchers have also discovered viruses never before recorded. Oh,
Yeah, here you
yay!
go. Here we go.
Like recently christened Pandora viruses lurking in the permafrost.
Ugh.
Pandora viruses are a type of giant virus that appear to have been more common about 30,000 years ago. Oh, good. Giant Pandora viruses from
Sure, and I'm
30,000
sure that
years ago.
30,000 years ago the people had a vaccine for that.
In 2014, researchers successfully revived two of these ancient viruses. Oh, good work, team! Which were found 100 feet underground in the tundra along the coast. Well, why not bring it all back? That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, the viruses can only infect single celled amoebas, not people. So far.
Mm.
But unlike unknown viruses and bacteria could potentially spread to humans after being preserved for hundreds or even thousands of years within the Arctic ice, without the immunity our ancestors may have had, both humans and the intermediary animals that can spread disease could be extremely vulnerable to the revived microbes. So far, few of the viruses recovered from the permafrost seem to be active or contagious. In the bodies from the 1890s smallpox outbreak, for example, researchers were able to find some viral material to confirm that the people had indeed died of the virus, but they did not find completely intact viruses that would have been contagious. Attempts to cultivate other permafrost viruses in laboratories have largely failed. Well,
Well,
that's good.
yeah, I was going to say, is that a good thing? Yeah. You
It's a
know,
good thing.
Jennifer, they want to replicate them and then something gets loose. And it's in the yeah. Oh my
Oh
God. And
God.
then Trump could
Attack
call
of
it the
the
Russia
zombie.
virus.
Oh
What?
God. Attack of the zombie viruses.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. The
Some
things we
hardy
think of.
bacteria. I know. Some hardy bacteria, on the other hand, seem to be just as potent when they are buried. Not all bacteria can survive the harsh conditions of the Arctic for long periods of time, but a few, like anthrax, tetanus, and the bacteria that causes botulism,
Mm-hmm.
can. So anthrax, tetanus, and botulism can persist.
Lovely. Botulism is what I'm trying not to have happen to any of my canned goods that I'm doing with my vegetables. No
Don't end up
botulism here.
poisoning yourself.
I trust I did everything the right way, but you never know.
That's right.
Yeah.
These bacteria are not limited to the Arctic permafrost, of course. Obviously, dirt everywhere is potentially a problem. And Jensen, a senior scientist at UPIVIC, EUPIAT.
Opigovic. Okpivik. Okpivik.
Oh God, my Russian accent.
Well,
I just
we
can't
probably
forget
could
it.
find a program that'll help us.
Corporation Science LLC and an archaeologist at Utqiagvik in Alaska's far north told me. I mean, it could be a problem in New York State. There's a
Oh,
lot of
thanks.
places where dirt has got botulism in it. There's a reason why there's a
Okay.
puncture wound, and if it's dirty, you get a tetanus shot.
Okay.
Okay.
I get this one.
And then
Mm-hmm.
anthrax, our other good friend virus. Anthrax, for example, occurs naturally in the soil all over the world. In fact, it tends to thrive in warmer climates, which may be part of why it began spreading again during the 2016 Siberian summer. It's far from a prehistoric disease brought back to life by climate
Mm.
change. Rather, climate change is creating better conditions for it to continue thriving.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Better conditions. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we? Did
Well, we could continue, or
it's a I think
we
yeah,
could
it's a
say,
long one and we've been an hour,
yeah.
but they're talking about at the end uh and outbreaks. Although it is kept in highly secretive locations, a smallpox vaccine exists should the virus once more rise more from the Siberian soil. So I guess that these scientists and the medical professionals, at least over in Russia, are they are anticipating, and they're also anticipating it in the livestock. So they're doing some anticipation of this because they know what's happening. And they also it also said that since the 2016 outbreak, vaccinations of Russian reindeer, they have vaccinated 600,000 reindeer. How do they do
Oh
that? What do they
God,
do?
I have
I mean,
no
how do they know it
idea.
works? Food? And how do you do that? We'll have to look that one up.
That's well over a 500,000 reindeer. How
No
can they
kidding.
vaccinate that many reindeer?
Unless they're vaccinating with food stuffs dropped from helicopters. But then, how do you know what dose each one gets? Well, it seems like Jennifer, we've got who's out there that would
Homework.
like to do this research for us and send us links at our environmental coffee house at Gmail and help us out. Do some research for us. Find some links to the vaccination of reindeer in Siberia. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be
That'll be
interesting.
helpful. So the article's almost done, but this was it was good. I think we came up with a lot of interesting things tonight. Definitely
Yeah, those
interesting
were
things
very,
tonight.
very good articles. Thanks for choosing those, Sandy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where are we at now? Anything pressing that you want to talk about that's happened this week? We had the one, remember, we were just going to maybe before we ended show because we didn't talk about the fires at all. And I have a couple of pictures just to pull up of from the Los Angeles Times, but the Los Angeles Times has paywalled me out, and it was how climate change is fueling California's record heat, fires, and smog. You guys can find this all. I mean, there's a lot, but
Mhm.
it's finally being called climate change, and not that it's climate change that directly okay, climate change and fires. No, it's a whole process. Nick Humphrey, he's got a he has a post on his Facebook about that very same thing. So
Mm, mm.
okay, Jen. So what do you say?
Well, it's been another action-packed show. And one thing I did today, and anybody who's really interested in rounding out their climate change knowledge, abrupt climate change knowledge, just get your device of choice out, put it on auto load, and bring up the latest Paul Beckwith video and just
Mm,
let it roll. I actually watched about 4 or 5 Paul Beckwith videos today in that mode, and it's amazing how much I learned. And the main thing that's sticking out in my mind right
yep.
now is the warm blob of water in the Arctic Ocean, warm, salty water, like 1,000 meters down or something like that. It's like creeping in from the Atlantic, and it's not mixing, so it's almost got like a thermos on it because the fresh, um, the fresh kind of cooler water that's basically ice melt in the Arctic
Yeah.
Ocean, the former Arctic sea ice, is actually keeping that at bay. So it's mixing in more and more, but there's 5 times as much heat in that warm blob of water to just completely fry the rest of the Arctic sea ice. So I think that the Arctic sea ice is not long for this world. And I think that once the Arctic sea ice melts, everybody's life is going to change, and we're going to see more abrupt climate change events as the remainder of the jet stream just goes completely haywire. So, with
There you
that
go.
happy thought, Sandy,
Yeah,
yeah,
with that happy thought, I'm going to say good night. And I, as of now, have a show on Tuesday night. No topic yet. We don't have any guests except Jennifer has a guest lined up. We don't know when yet. And that was the link
yeah,
I was supposed to put in. But
yeah.
I
Jack
did.
Adam Wepper with
Yes.
his new book, Climate
Yes.
Cure, which I actually reviewed on Amazon today. So it's available on Kindle or in hard copy, paperback hard copy. So
Cool.
anybody who's interested in starting to process some of the very difficult emotions that this very severe time,
Yeah.
yeah, you can buy Jack's book. It's
All
available,
right.
Jack Adam Webber, Climate Cure.
Okay, and I just want to give a shout out to Climate Marcher John, who's been on the show with me. John's wonderful. I will have him back again. We had a great rapport. Groot came in with us, and George, 99 Big Boss, George Sacralitis has been with us. George, we just love when
Hi,
we see
George.
you here. Yes, George. You know, we have so many people we want to bring on. It's and you just do what you can within your limits, one day at a time, guys. So good night,
That's right.
and thank you so much for coming. Peace out. We love you.
Love you guys.